Hello, I'm Gareth A Davies, and this is the Championship Rounds for Pitch Boxing, where I bring you all the interviews from the combat sports world. Enjoy. As always, Gennady, it's fantastic to see you, your face, your aura. You know, I don't like to call myself a fan because I'm an analyst, but I have a huge appreciation for your work. And we spoke about this in the last interview before Ryota Murata, yeah? And you put it very eloquently, very articulately. Gennady can understand me, Konstantin, you know that. So you don't need to translate all of it. You're over that first fight with Canelo, you're over it. It doesn't affect your legacy. The world knows what happened. We spoke about it in detail, yeah? We know you won 8 rounds to 5 or 7 rounds to 5. When you enter a third fight with the same opponent, and there is so much on the line, the world is watching, is it business? Is it still boxing a sport? Or is it personal?
I should say all three of those. Let me elaborate. First of all, from the business standpoint, great money, plus I have the deal with DAZN, which is going to bring, this fight is going to bring DAZN on the next level, and I'm happy about that. From the boxing standpoint, I love boxing, we all know that. And I think being a little bit over 40 years old and to have an opportunity to be a participant of this amazing fight is so cool, is so great. And to feel in demand, to know that people want to see this fight. This is one of the most wanted fights right now. It's just gives me a lot of satisfaction. From the personal standpoint, of course, I would respond to this challenge no matter what. Even if I would be 50 and I'd be challenged, I would take this challenge. I would never run away. I would never try to avoid the fight, like my opponent did, by the way. I will never try to delay this fight. So I'm going to respond to the challenge. I'm going to take it. So all three.
Do you, Gennady, ever have a revenge mindset? Or is that just crazy to want revenge?
No, revenge mindset is not about me. I sometimes feel that like truth is on my side, and I'm fighting for fairness of that. For example, even if I don't prevail, like I can say to myself that I was fair, I was truthful, and this, yes, but revenge, no, this is not about Gennady Golovkin.
It's fascinating when two boxers go into round 25 together. You've already had 24 rounds of 3 minutes together. So weirdly, you kind of know each other well as fighters. Have you watched any other trilogies? Are you studying any other trilogies? And explain to us on the outside what it's like when you're preparing for a third fight and you've already gone 24 rounds with someone and they've both been so close. Well, not the first one, but you know what I mean? They've been close in terms of how you're competing. No one's knocked out or knocked down.
I would not compare it to other trilogies, but I would compare it to different sport. We're talking about mountain climbing, you know, like mountaineers, when they climb Everest, the highest peak on our planet, they realize that it's extremely difficult, that it is a constant fight. Every second there is a challenge, and sometimes you are able to go faster, sometimes it gets more difficult, and you understand that you have a goal in front of you to reach that peak. At the same time, you realize that there is a chance that you will not be able to do that, that your body will halter, for example, and you can you listen to your body, and sometimes it would tell you that, sorry, not this time. We know each other. I know my opponent. I know that it's going to be difficult, and I do everything to peak for this fight, to reach my peak form and to be like in the peak form for my career. I got the best opponent in this weight class for this fight, and that's my approach.
Speaking of the weight class, for you at 40, is it an advantage to be making this fight at super middleweight at 168 pounds?
To an extent, yes. So, of course, it's hard for me to say because I've never been in that weight class. It is going to be my first fight at 168. And I should say that I feel great at 160, despite the fact that I have to make that weight. But still, I believe that 168 is the weight class that I'm going to be very comfortable in.
Very quickly then, how much do you cut to go to 160? Are you not having to cut very much for this one?
Well, the initial weight from which I have to cut is not very important. Sometimes I have to cut like 20 pounds, 25, even 30, depending on when you start cutting. But when you're in a fight weight, like approaching it in great form, it's only 2, 3, 4 pounds that make a difference. And I feel that those 2, 3, 4 pounds are going to matter a lot, and I'll be able to feel more comfortable in that weight class because of that.
Very straight question. Obviously, you are considered a modern great. You are a modern great in boxing, no question. 4 years since you fought Canelo now, yeah? I think technically you're the better boxer anyway, but have you seen that many improvements in him in 4 years?
Thank you very much, first of all, for your kind words. It's a
pleasure.
Pleasure to hear that from you. From the technical standpoint, I think my opponent is more comfortable, and he is sure in his weight class at 168. And if we're not talking about his last fight, I think he felt that he had an edge over the opponents he had before. He was faster, he was stronger, he was more confident. And when you're more confident, when you're like, say, 90% better than your opponent, you can show everything you have in your arsenal. You can pretty much do whatever you want, and you're stronger, you're faster, you're able to demonstrate your technical abilities. So, but I'm not talking about the last fight.
Okay, tell me about the last fight then.
Well, I believe that he showed his level of professionalism. He showed his true face. He showed that he completely lost touch with the reality based on the interviews he gave after the fight, the way he behaved after his opponent's arm was raised, and him saying that he only lost 2 or 3 rounds, not the entire fight. You know, it shows that when everything is so good, everything is in your favor, everybody is kind of like pleasing you, just saying like pleasantries, and the person like sometimes loses touch with the reality, and that's what happened.
I know I haven't got much more time, so I just want to ask a couple more questions. You've touched on it in a lot of your answers. You're always like this. You always give me deep answers to what I'm trying to have deep questions. It's so much about mindset, boxing. I mean, you're talking about the moments in a fight where you know your brain's telling you got to retire back or go forward. You're very present when you're describing it right now. But it is so much about will and mindset. You know at 40 that boxing it's about desire, but is it not mostly at this stage about will and mindset?
I think it's about your professionalism, the way you see the fight, the way you approach it. And when you're in a fight, it's like your other half, your crazy mad half is
Your alter
acting.
ego. Your alter ego, yeah.
Yeah, your alter ego, alter ego. But at the same time, I should say there are no excuses, and there should never be any excuses. It's about you. It's the way how you fight, and you should not try to find any excuses when the outcome is not to your liking.
Triple G are always, triple gladiator, always real. Final question. It's a massive fight in September. I'm already booked. I cannot wait to be there. Really looking forward to the build-up and the whole event, because it's what we love is the entire event as analysts as well, being around you guys. We have a big fight in Saudi Arabia that I'm going to this month. Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk. What can the big guy from the UK do to change the pattern of the fight the second time against Usyk, who's a brilliant ring general and a southpaw?
Well, I'm brought up in a good way, so I usually don't give advices when I'm not asked to be given to give an advice, and I don't share my opinions. But if somebody would ask me, I would say that Joshua should forget about the business side of that. He should not stop. I mean, he should stop thinking the way he looks like, and he should be a wild animal. There is no need for him to think about this beauty of boxing, the approach. He should be the beast. And if he changes completely, then a trilogy is possible, even the fourth fight. But for now, we saw everything in the first fight. And whatever Joshua had did not work. And that's why this second fight is not as interesting as it could be, in my opinion. Yes, if he changes completely, drastically, then he will reach the level of excitement this fight brings, the way our fight with my opponent brings.
Final question. Sorry, it's a really short one. How do you deal? You obviously you go home sometimes, yeah, to Kazakhstan, yeah, or not?
Ездите в Казахстан периодически? Yes.
You can't walk down the street in Kazakhstan, okay, without being stopped all the time, because you're one of the country's most famous people. How do you, Gennady, deal with fame? Is it an odd thing? Is it strange? Is it weird always, fame?
Well, the saying goes that great people don't suffer from that much, right? And I'll be honest that when I go home, I go there to see my relatives. I don't try to go out and seek that recognition to experience this fame moments. I see my relatives. To them, I'm the same Gennady Golovkin. I'm the son, I'm the brother, and they do not regard me in any other way.
Cool. Well, I will try and do the same then every time I see you. Listen, thank you so much indeed. Konstantin, thank you for the translating my long questions. I'm sorry about that. Gennady, it's great to see you. I really appreciate your time as always, and I truly mean that.
Геннадий, большое вам спасибо, да. Очень вам благодарен за
ваши ответы. See you in Vegas in September, yeah?
В сентябре увидимся в Вегасе.
Thank you very much.
See you in Vegas.
Thank you. Cheers. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.